Hello and welcome to episode 178 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. It's all the crew here for you today, Punk, Dex and Worko, to talk you through everything Sheffield Wednesday. There's not a load of Sheffield Wednesday news, but there's plenty to talk about and discuss. We will be starting with some international talk, unfortunately, because we haven't done a podcast. We did a podcast literally on the day last time. But it's humid, lads. How's your week been? We'll start the episode how we always do, and we'll go to Jake first. How's your week been, mate?
I've had a very, very full household. You know when you get a friend which to give you the phone call going, "Are you in?" You go, "Yeah." All right, I'm coming over. I'm like, "Okay, no, I'll sort that out." I don't have
friends. I purposely avoided those kind of friends in my life.
But it was nice because I've not seen him for about a year. He lives in Cumbria and came down with his girlfriend and their 5-month-old. So we had a house full of a 6-year-old, 2 kids under 1, and 4 adults. So that was fun. But it was good to see him. We managed to get the PC I got off Jack now sorted and set up for streaming. I was going to risk it with the podcast, but I didn't want you to have an aneurysm with it maybe going wrong and getting...
Yeah, no, you're not using that for the podcast.
To be fair, I'm going to wait until I've got it more stable. Until it's stable, it's not going to get used for anything. I used it for my stream and it was okay, but there's some things I want to do. It's mainly because there's so many plugins for OBS that you can't use on Mac, but you can on PC. And I want to try and utilize some of them, and it's doing me. The workarounds are they're good, but they're complicated as hell. You have to sit down and think them out a little bit. So I want to try and make it a little bit more streamlined. But apart from that, it's been good. It's just been. Guess who forgot it was the summer holidays next week? Me. It kind of snuck up on me, and I was like, "Oh, I'll take you to school on Monday." And my little go, "No, I ain't got school, Daddy." Like, why? Holidays. I'm like, oh, damn it. So we're trying to figure all that lot out and what we're going to do with it. Apart from that, it's been good. Apart from it being stupidly warm, which is lovely.
It's not lovely. I know I wanted some warmth, but it's like, and I guess it's like a good time because we usually get the heat earlier.
Yeah.
And if we got a nice warm August, that'll be lovely. But it's also a case of like, I didn't need this now because we've been reorganizing things and moving things about and doing all of that. And now it's just so humid. Yeah. And the fan, the big cooling fan we've got packed up last week.
Oh, so I didn't.
It bloody did. So I've got to go and get another one from the folks' house.
Yeah.
Because I've got my old one there, but it's a case of now we've had to take the fan we had downstairs upstairs. And I like fans. They circulate and make me breathe and be cool.
Yeah.
Which is also why I'm currently struggling in this room because the window's open and all you feel is the heat.
Yeah.
But yes, Jack, how's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been okay. Certain people may know about my ongoing fiasco with a certain PC building company that sent me a PC that actually was broken and then decided when I phoned them up to ask about what the heck's going on with the customer support, apparently the email that I sent them with all the details had immediately been archived rather than actioned and all that jazz, but the courier finally picked it up to send off to them, so the normal service can hopefully be resumed in a couple of weeks when the warranty repair has happened and stuff, so that's that big stress.
So we'll have you for another couple of weeks before you get blue screened again, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Are you the reason why the entire world outage happened? Was it your computer that caused it?
Yes, it was. I thought my PC's gone down, so I'm going to bring the whole world down with me. No, it wasn't. Disclaimer, FBI and other people that may stumble across that, it wasn't me. And I'm just knackered, really, because I was chasing a cricket ball around in the field yesterday not very well because I've not played for like 4 years properly, so all my instincts are gone. But I still get just as angry at myself as I always used to. You know how angry Barry Bannon was getting on the football field at everybody else in that relegation season, and he was just shouting at everybody all the time. That's how I get at myself.
I remember the Joe Wild comment.
Yeah. That's basically me to myself on so I'm a very angry man when I play any sort of sports. And And
you've got you've got a lot of repressed rage that comes out whenever anything's competitive, Jack.
Yes, I know, and I don't know why, but
it's like we're playing FIFA and you get very
Yeah,
irate.
he does. Very high rate. You should see it when he's doing his streams where he'll die and he'll just rage at it.
Why did a thumbs up just come on your screen?
You just had a little bubble with a thumb that just appeared next to your head. Yeah.
Shouldn't have done.
I'm scared.
For all the YouTube watchers of this podcast, feel free to like the stream.
It should
like the stream, like the video. That's a little funny thing. But yeah, it's been okay. I'm just knackered, really. I've been doing lots of physical exercise and stuff, trying to get in shape. How about you, James? How are you doing?
Same thing, actually. I've been, I've started low impact sort of lifting, not going too crazy because it's warm and don't want to do myself a mischief. But did a full body 2 days ago, and because I'd not done leg day in a while, it's that thing where you go up the stairs and you're like, ow, on every single step. It's when you go to sit down and you're like, ow, because you've basically your entire thighs are just fire. But that's good. It's good to feel like I'm getting some level of sort of strength back, because I kind of let my muscles just dissipate basically over the past 2 years. So it's nice to actually wake them up again while we're never getting any younger, are we? So I want to make sure that I keep myself in a good sort of stasis. I don't need to be skinny or anything like that, but as long as I'm strong enough to not have back pain, strong enough to like keep myself relatively fit, I'll be happy. Because I've been doing a lot of that this week. Been finishing off some work bits and just making sure that I'm when I have some time to sort of focus on everything and write again and do all of that, I make the most of the time. Been planning which games I want to go to and travel back for, and the sort of start of it. I think one of them will be Leeds, but it makes me feel a bit sick that I'm going to pay that much money for a game that's on TV. You know, it's like... But me and my mate ages ago said we'd never been to a Leeds game together, and he was like, oh, it'd be a laugh. And I was like, yeah, we've never actually been to a game together, me and this mate. So we picked Leeds like way before they even announced the pricing structure, and now it's like, oh dear. I was umming and ahhing over the Parma testimonial, but that's going to be more difficult to actually get to in terms of my scheduling. But trying to sort all of that out, look at that.
I won't lie, it's weird how quickly the season's nearly upon us.
I know.
It feels odd because I think we knew we'd be busy, but I think as a whole, I think we're all a bit like, this is weird. We haven't had a preseason like this in a very long time. So I think it's all caught up on us all really quickly.
Yeah, it's coming around the corner, hasn't it? It's obviously pre-season's well underway. Usually at this point we haven't signed many players though, so it's good to have more positivity of a squad sort of together. We used to do the things of what you've been playing. I started playing that Flintock that they've put on at Games Pass, and that's been kicking my arse because it's a Souls Light, not a Souls like. Apparently it's a Souls Light, but it feels pretty Soulsy. I'm like, I don't like these bosses. I feel like I'm really underpowered. But I think it's a Souls Light because there's a difficulty setting. So that's why it's classed as a Souls Light. But been playing that. I've been umming and ahhing whether to do some content around EAFC, but I think it's kind of dead. So I'm going to probably wait until the next one now. Obviously they've released the information about that. It looks like a copy and paste, but I feel like I'm going to sunset the EAFC 24 career. It didn't perform as well as I'd want it to carry it on, even though we did get to the Premier League. We had a great last season to get into the Premier League. Let's just leave it there and not see us get relegated again. So like, I did film the first episode of the Premier League season, but there's no point in putting it out there. So we'll do the EAFC.
I'm intrigued to see what FM do this year because this is the new year with the new engine.
Yeah, the new Unity engine.
And the Premier League license.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun to see what happened with that. I'm intrigued to see how that goes. And
yeah, I'm very much debating because I've been really getting into FM again. I've been debating whether I do, because I used to do, I did a bit of content on that during lockdown because it takes longer to do content on FM. But I've been considering it. If I've got a bit more time to do it, we'll see what we can do with it. It's just FM content doesn't do as well in general. Like even the big FM creators don't do fantastically well. It's very niche.
If you're doing FM, you've got to do like a really weird, obscure team or a backstory or something. You've got to like storyline it really to make it work and do well.
You've got to basically put days of work in to make a like half-hour video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the thing with FM. But yeah, other than that, yeah, as I just said to you, we found another source of maybe a leak in this house somewhere. So we've got to sort all of that out, which is annoying because it's the joys of still getting used to a place and trying to figure everything out. I guess the good joy is that
you don't own it.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we're not on the hook for any of it because we don't own the house and we haven't done it. So, but yeah. It was interesting because the house a few doors down went for sale, and I was like, do I just buy that and be moving there? But then I end up being on the hook for everything, you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you did buy it, you would have to then you do all the checks instead of doing like the 500 check where they just drive past and go, oh, it's standing. You go for the one that's $1,000 where they check everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the stupid thing. When they do the checks, if you pay for them with the least amount, it literally, they drive past, go, it's standing, maybe kick it a couple of times like a car tyre, and then they drive off. If you pay for the other one, you find everything. You won't find everything because they won't do all of it, but it's like getting a roofer out to come and just check your roof to make sure there's no roof damage, making sure the plumbing. And if you've got people in the trade, it helps because you could probably get it done at a discount.
Yeah, it depends where I move because back home, like, the guy who was next door, who I grew up with and we were friends growing up, he's an electrician now. So my mum, we don't really hang out anymore. We just became different people when we grew up. But he's still a great lad, you know. We still like when we see each other, we're always very friendly. It's one of them friendship, you know. It's like not a friendship anymore, but it's like an acquaintance that used to be a childhood friend sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like.
They're watching this now, incredibly insulted that you've just said that about.
No, I don't mean it. No, I don't want to assume just because I was friends with someone in childhood that we're still technically friends. I think we would be friends. We just ended up going to different schools. He moved away, and then we didn't really keep in contact. Yeah. So when we grew up, when we were, I think it was when we were about 12. So you know, but point is, my mum, because he lives close again now. My mum still has him to do. My mum and dad still get him around to do like electric work and stuff like that. So if I was moving closer to my mum and dad's, yeah. But if it's here, it's a pain in the arse. It's because I know him, I know a carpenter, I know a plumber. It's like, you know, I'm all back there. I don't know anyone here. So that's the thing.
That's the thing where if you buy a house, you do one of these things called a working weekend, where you supply them with alcohol and food and payment for services, and you get it done.
It's like I've got a mechanic I trust back there as well. And that's the thing that I miss. Like, I'm thinking I'm going to take the car back there to get serviced over summer. God, it started making a weird noise the other day. And you know, no, right. And I was like, something's gone wrong with this. But it's basically what had happened is like a metal plate from like one of them scrap vans that fell off onto the road and got caught under my wheel. But got caught and it was pushing against my air conditioning unit. So when my fans were on, I was like, why is it whistling? And then it started grinding and things. And I was like, oh, this sounds expensive. So I looked into the car. You couldn't see anything. So I just kept driving it up and down the street. So I was like, there's something going on here. Is something going to, I'd rather it snap on me and then be able to get the AA out here while it's on my street and then get it to a garage than drive it sort of like unknowingly, you know? So I did that, and then it made a loud thud, and this thing poked out. And I said, Soph, can you just watch as I go up and down the street? And she saw it sort of like fall out. It's just this metal piece that... The awkward thing is, right, this had already happened once. and we'd binned it. But somehow, the same piece of metal that the scrappers had clearly... They'd clearly not got rid of, you know, when they took the bit or it fell out again. It had fallen clearly onto this, like a similar bit of road and managed to do it again. So if my car's damaged, I'm not going to be impressed.
No.
Anyway, let's get into the England talk. We didn't win. Surprise, surprise. Jack, how did you find it?
Do you know what? I've actually sort of put it out of my head now. I just sort of was like, oh, well, there we go. We've bottled it again. It's England. They've bottled it. You know, I don't know. It's interesting though, as well, because I don't know if Harry Kane will be selected for England going forwards. That to me, his sort of reaction at the end looked a little bit like this was my last chance with, you know.
I think he should be a bench striker in that sort of system. If in the system Southgate was playing, he should be on the bench. But you can actually make use of Harry Kane. You can use him if you play proper wingers.
Yeah,
and just have him. If you have him sit on the edge of the box and literally have everybody else do the running for him, but he refused to do that. So I don't necessarily think it's the last tournament for Harry Kane. It depends on how he's utilised in the future. I think he's still the best. He's the best finisher tournament? We've got. 34 or 30.
Still not at the age where you might say you're done, so he might still have a chance.
Maybe the next one might be his last hurrah then, I guess.
No, I reckon he's got 2 more tournaments left. He's 30.
So he's got a World Cup and the Euros.
Yeah.
So I reckon you utilise it because that first, you know, Spain. If you'd have had Watkins on from the start, I reckon we'd have ran him ragged. And I was saying this last week. And then once that's done it, you're either a couple of goals up, or you've not managed to quite get the goal. You're getting into the tetchy bits at the end of towards the end of the game, and you think extra time's coming. You put Harry Kane on, and then all of a sudden you've got your best penalty taker on the pitch. You've got your best finisher on the pitch, and you can feed balls into him, and we change our way of playing. And they're probably at that point a little bit too tired for Harry Kane.
First half we looked good and trying to do so, but that second half they just got better. And then once we did get the equaliser, we played for pens. He was obviously playing to take it to pens. That's not what you do against a team like Spain who can attack how they did. And
the problem with this for me, Jay, is man for man, we were the better side if you looked at it. Like, we're looking at the players and the system and the management let us down, which is why it felt like I just wish Southgate had gone before this tournament, because I'm going to look at him fondly now he's gone. Yeah, but it's like, because I'm going to look at him fondly, but I would have looked at him a lot more fondly if he'd have gone before this tournament, because that's 2 Euros which were there for the taking.
Yeah.
And yes, the Italy game should have been a better one, but you can kind of argue, in my opinion, you can argue that final pressure, okay, we crumbled under the pressure of a final, but this was the second final. So for me, this is a failure. Even though Spain are a better side than Italy, we still had the better individuals, they had a couple of great players, standout players. Probably Yamal could be one of those world-class players that becomes there. But we've got players that have been called world-class all season.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues you've got is with this set of players, because they always get called it like the golden generation. We had it with Beckham and Scholes and Lampard. You look at what Belgium's just done. They got to the far end of all the quality players who should have won an international tournament with, when you look at how they are. We have got the bedrock of some of that to come in the new England players that are in. It's whoever comes in and now kind of moves the goalpost and change it. If he can keep with the idea of like picking the players like Southgate has done, then fantastic, because I don't want it to go back to this whole top six players only situation.
Yeah, like
because
star power sort of thing.
It'd be really nice to see other players get a chance. And you look at the likes of Mainu, the fact that his age, he's going to go on to be really well. And I've seen a lot of people say Bellingham's come across as very arrogant. I think you've got a situation where he's gone from being at Real Madrid where they win everything and you can just tell what to do to coming into an England squad that haven't got a clue where they're playing. And what
they're trying to, the media have already set the sights on Bellingham, and I'm like, are you taking the
it annoyed me. Yeah, it annoyed the hell out of me. It annoyed me hell out because he did really well. And the thing is, you also look at what Southgate, one of the things that really, really wound me up about the entire tournament was him experimenting halfway through the tournament on ideas. You do that in your international
he found
break.
the right system way too late. And we weren't bedded in for it. The problem you've got, right, is for me, we talk about the Scholes generation, whatever that, that golden generation. I believe at that time the opposition players had much better teams. So that golden generation was up against better sides. The thing that annoys me about now is the sides that are out there, man for man, England can compete with the very best.
Yeah.
Right? And we should have won something. At least something. Because even the bloody Nations League, we should have won that. But we didn't. We didn't breed a mentality of winning. Because man for man, we are stronger than a lot of countries now. That's not always been the case. Well, if you look at the Brazils and the Portugals and whatever it was, back in the day. Yeah.
And Portugal, they're not the same anymore, are they?
No, exactly. Spain are coming, and even Spain until this time, Spain are now going to come into their own because they've got a young side that's going to develop into it, and they're going to, they've got new ideas. So Spain are going to be one of our rivals there. I think France are completely the Mbappe show, and that's the thing that they're going to be like a Portugal. France are going to be. If you lose your players, like I think when Kante goes and they have their sort of changing of the guard, France are up in the air for me. What happens to them?
To look out for me. Turkey is the team.
Maybe I don't know if they've got a couple of really strong individuals and obviously youth coming through, but it's one of those things where it's like, in terms, I'm talking about like the superpowers of football.
Italy are way away again.
Well, Ronaldo will be gone.
Yeah.
So Portugal might actually
Messi
become a better side. Because they were hampered by Ronaldo this time. Messi will be gone, so it'll be a case of trying to find the new Argentinian system. We are on for the World Cup, basically.
Yeah.
I think the big obviously players come and develop, but if we get the right manager, I'm just really worried that the FA are going to go for the safe bet and put someone really boring in charge. Like, when you think about all the winners that you could get in there, or just somebody who plays attacking football, just take this team and let them play bloody football.
Well, have you seen the rumours that actually the FA are wanting to wait for the end and put a point like an interim for a year and then get
Pep Guardiola? Yeah,
and the rumours are even more. By the way, there's even more rumours that he's actually keen on that prospect of managing England.
If Pep is England manager, we're winning the next 4 tournaments.
Oh god, yeah.
Like there's no. He manages elite players, and England have got elite players. I think he'd struggle with the goalkeepers.
Yeah, I think for me, if you get Pep in, you're going to win tournaments. I think you got Klopp in, you're going to win tournaments. The thing is, I can see him doing Lee Carsley. You've got the job until
I could
Pep
see him.
It.
Yeah, and then just keeping him in it. Yeah,
or even going, hey Potter, do you want this job? Because here's the thing, Potter does it. People have gone, why is Graham Potter still not in a job? Because he's been getting paid 200,000 since he got sacked by Chelsea still. And he got sacked a year ago. He doesn't need to go into a job right now.
Potter wouldn't be like a glamorous signing, but he'd be an upgrade on Southgate.
Yeah.
So, it's like to say Eddie Howe, like you wouldn't think he's glamorous, but he plays attacking football and he's tactically good, Eddie Howe. So I think if they could go in for him and he could do it, and I wouldn't mind Eddie Howe actually. I think Eddie Howe fits the FA's vision a little bit more as well.
Is he not quite securely in that Newcastle manager job though?
Managerial jobs though, mate. In terms of like that, Newcastle are basically waiting for a bad season of Eddie Howe to bring in their glamour manager, like a Pep style manager. Yeah.
Just to say this one, FA, stay away from Chris Powell. He's 100 for 1. You don't want him.
Yeah, you don't want Chris Powell.
No.
You don't want to manage.
No.
He just wants to be a number 2 or whatever, doesn't he? I think.
He just wants to be in part of the group, but not managing it.
Yeah.
I know we're all joking about that.
And I like that we've skipped over the fact that bloody Kyle Walker was doing a bloody Nathaniel Mendez-Lang the entire game for England as well.
Kyle Walker cost us that final.
Not tracking back, yada yada. Just
in terms of individuals, yeah. If you're talking about individual performances, Kyle Walker cost us that final. But Kyle Walker has also got us out of trouble in the past, so it's a difficult one.
He had all those options for that throw in, and then he cannons it back to the centre half.
My mate just texted me straight away, and he went, "Does Kyle Walker not fancy blocking that shot whatsoever?"
Yeah,
he could have literally come back into position and blocked the shot. I've got hiccups. I'm drinking tea. How have I got hiccups?
I mean, to be fair, he was probably worried about it hit him in the face because the middle of his nose might fall out again. But there we go. And that's not slander. That's at a historical event that happened.
Allegedly.
It's well documented. Anyway, shall we talk about Wednesday stuff now?
Yeah, timestamp. There you go. 24 odd minutes or whatever it's going to be when we edit this down.
Oh yeah, there you
I've
go.
got 26.
Oh, 29.
I love how we've all started recording at different times. Right. The edit.
No.
Okay, so into the first bit of news. Deshaun Bernard extends Owl's stay. This is from the Wednesday website. Deshaun Bernard has signed a new contract with Wednesday. The towering centre-half has joined the Owls last summer, having left Premier League giants Manchester United. Bernard proved a big hit in S6, making 3 appearances in blue and white across all competitions. The 23-year-old has been on international duty with Jamaica over the summer, initially in the Reggae Boys World Cup qualifiers and then the Copa America, taking his tally of caps to 17. He now returns to these shores and will join SWFC. The SWFC contingent flying out to Germany for the second leg of our pre-season preparations for the 2024-25 campaign. Welcome back to Wednesday, Dish. Yes, and more yes, especially because we are led to believe that this is a 3-year deal, Jake.
It is a 3-year deal, and it's a very good deal. And you sneaky man with that post, you knew exactly what you were doing. You had everybody on string with that. And I love it how everyone, we even had messages, all 3 of us, back and forth in different chat things to each other, going, what do we think this means? Is this not good? But you know what? This shows you what Danny's doing. Danny is being able to put a plan and tell them, this is what I want to do. Are you going to stay here and enjoy it with us like we did last season? Or are you going to go elsewhere? Because I'll tell you something, I am going to make you better. And we're going to enjoy this and we're going to have fun. And you can tell they've all bought into just the Danny way of thinking. I say, you say, we don't stay up. You don't get Windass. You don't get you probably get Palmer and Bannon. You don't get Dish. They're all going. There's something about this group of players at the minute who are all in. And it's lovely to see. I don't think we've seen that in a long time.
No, I agree. Jack?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he took his sweet time to sign the deal, didn't he?
I know.
He was in the thing is, what you've got to remember though, Jack, international tournament, he was out on July the 14th. And then you've got to think he could have a month break as well, like everyone else. And I think as a club, we were probably just saying, go have the month break. And hopefully, it wouldn't surprise me. We had a gentleman's agreement of some sort going, go have your month break.
I was just joking, Jake. You didn't need to jump down my throat on that one. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see him resign.
He's come out of the gate firing with the aggressive nature today, hasn't he? It's
bloody hell.
I think he's realised it's the summer holidays coming up.
Yeah.
He was quite tetchy before this podcast as well.
Yeah.
So carry on.
He'd forgotten, and then his daughter reminded him that next week is the 6th week. Yeah. But I honestly don't think he would have re-signed if he didn't. If Danny hadn't have put forward to him, we will be in the Premier League by the end of this 3-year deal that we're putting in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think he would have gone somewhere else if he didn't. If like the Prem in 2 years, whatever, wouldn't have been on the table in that sort of convincing conversation with Danny.
Does that take him to 26 at the end of his deal?
27.
27, even better.
Yes.
No, are you talking about year or age?
Age.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant the year.
Jack can look that up, but I actually thought it might be a 2-year deal with a 1-year option. So the fact that it's a 3-year straight, that's pretty good business.
It
really
says
good
in
business.
Am I the only one that feels like this is very much like when we got Iorfa in under Steve Bruce? That level of feeling.
I think it's better because he's proven for us.
It's better and proven, but it's that kind of feeling, isn't it?
It'll be 26.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So you should get him into his prime as well.
This is what I was saying. I was saying you sign a 2 to 3 year deal with Wednesday. If we're not where you want to be by the end of that contract, you're in the prime of your career.
Exactly.
So it's a case of like, the best case scenario is Wednesday you're a Premier League side and he's starting for us and England. Let's just say I'd feel a bit sick. But like, can you imagine like...
I mean, considering he's playing in the Jamaican first team. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, even though he was born and raised in Wandsworth, like, you know.
Yeah, do you know the reason I said that is because I swear on Football Manager, when I first signed him ages ago, he was eligible for both and he played for England in my save.
You know what the other thing as well is?
Done that. It's so summer, isn't it? That is so summer brain.
I mean, to be fair, if Michael Antonio can play for the England first team and then actually swap nationalities and go and play for Jamaica as well, then Bernard can do it the other way, you know?
The other thing you've got as well.
I'm so glad you pulled me up on that because that would have been awkward if that had been the end. Oh yeah, I've literally just read that it's been a tournament with the Jamaican national team.
It literally says in the article.
The other thing you got is, as well, if, say, we haven't, I want us to do it, by the way, to get to the Premier we all do, but you've also got a very sellable asset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So look at what Hull had done. Hull had just sold their main centre-back to Ipswich. I think they got like 20 million.
Was it that Jacob Greaves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like
Very
20
good
million.
defender.
You could have something similar down the line like that if it came to it. And you got it. It's the first time I think in a squad we've actually got, I don't like saying it, but we've got sellable assets if we need to. And if they come, we can be very interesting negotiation points with it.
Here's why I think I always get that confused now, and it is because of my millennial FIFA brain. I'm literally screenshotting for the video watchers of this, his FIFA 23 card. So only a year ago, it's got the English flag above the Manchester United thing. So there you go.
Doesn't that just mean he plays for an English club?
No,
that's his nationality.
Is it? Oh,
his
okay.
nationality. Yeah. Because if you'll know now, above Sheffield Wednesday, it's the Jamaican flag because he's declared.
Aha. There we go.
But yeah, that just...
didn't you know Sheffield Wednesday is actually based in Trinidad? Yeah,
there you go. I've just put it in the document. That was his last year's card from FIFA 23.
It looks very angry, doesn't he, in that photo?
Yeah, in that photo, boy. Yeah. It's like, why are you taking... Is that a Hull kid? Did he play on...
It's like, I think he was on loan at Hull.
Yeah, he was 21, 22.
He's like, oh, why have I signed for this place? Oh, they told me this was a city of culture. They were lying.
But yeah, great bit of business from Wednesday there. A little bit of business that's taken a while. Then me and Jack had a bit of a heated debate about it last week, which was a lot of fun. Jan Pervada, the star.
I came off the worst of the comment section, by the way, for that. I was slaughtered.
I'm not surprised.
Lots of very angry people. Oh.
That's what you get for having terrible takes, Jack. But yeah. Sorry. I thought it was good. It was a good debate. It was good to stretch the old debate legs.
I mean, it's always boring when it's like an echo chamber, in my opinion. When there's different opinions, then that's good.
Yeah. But to be fair, one thing we both agreed on in that debate last week is the deal has got to be right. So the Star have quoted Danny Rullers talking about Jan Pervada and saying this sort of in relation to that when he's been questioned. It says in quote, "We can't make every deal immediately done because the player wants this, this, or this. We have some principles, we have to, but we are looking for solutions, and this is always part of the business. Sometimes it goes quicker, sometimes it takes more time. We've had some crucial players last season in the second half that improved our squad, but we've also brought in some good players from the outside into our squad, and this is a good balance, a good mix. We'll keep going." So that reading between the lines is Pervader's deal is a bit tricky because he's probably got quite high demands, which is on the side of what I said. The deal has to be right.
Yeah.
He would definitely improve our squad and he's definitely worth taking a punt on, but I don't want us to stretch to a stupidly long contract, stupidly high wages. Then it wouldn't be worth it for me because we can look elsewhere.
Yeah.
We can look elsewhere. And I think we'd both agree on that, Jack, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like,
yeah.
Don't take the mickey with your demands. Like, I just sort of think, I actually sort of think that we've recruited equally as good players in those positions that he could play in anyway. So I think there's insurance if we don't get him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we from what I've seen so far, we are yet to have a player of that flair. Andy said something interesting, actually. Yeah, Andy hardly agrees with you, Jack, but did you see the comment? He put it very late, actually, in the day.
I actually stopped looking at the comment section because it was making me very sad that nobody agreed with me whatsoever. And I've actually now made it a policy to not really check comment sections anymore because...
That's fair. I'll tell you what, though. Andy had your side with it. He said, "My concern is he's a João Felix. Looks lovely, but no numbers. 10 appearances for us last season, no goals, 1 assist. He's never had more than 2 goals or assists in a season. So he's an injury-prone player with an alarming lack of pace and no end product. If the wages are sensible, I'd still probably take a punt. Maybe he can be disruptive off the bench, but I suspect it's the reason he's still dragging on. His demands are high." So you had somebody agree with you.
He was on high wage at Leeds as well.
I am still hesitant to call him an injury-prone player because he's they're not the same recurring injuries. So it's
in muscle injuries.
And for me, a player that comes on and disrupts like that and is defenders have to be drawn to a player like that, which creates space for other people.
Right, I'll put it this way. If you've got the option, and this option might not be here by the time the podcast comes out, are you going Pervader or Dembele?
Weirdly, I'd probably stay Pervader because I've seen him for Wednesday, and that's difficult. It's very difficult when you look at a player because Dembele, I'd love to see what he could do under Danny, but I've seen Pervader under Danny.
Yeah.
And I've liked what I've seen under Danny.
We already know what he can do.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I'd rather take Pervader because we've already done the kind of try before you buy. We know what you can do, where with Dembele, he's great to have in as an option, but we haven't seen what he can do yet. He did well at Blackpool, but then he's going up another level.
Like the interesting thing about Dembele, though, is like, that was reported long ago and it's not happened yet, whereas a lot of them have.
Well, Dembele's been offered to 3 clubs, us, Derby and someone else.
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, that's it. And Derby apparently are the ones who may have won it, kind of thing. And if you actually look at it, it's a very good, you're buying potential, not what you can do now. With Pervader, we know what he can do now, and we know the potential at the same time.
I think it's Bolton because Portsmouth have ruled themselves out. So, yeah, that's interesting, actually. Might as well read about Karamoko, but we have not got this in the document, but Bolton News sort of says, just paraphrasing this article a bit, they've basically confirmed that the Portsmouth boss has confirmed that they're not going in for him, but Bolton are interested in him to replace Paris Makoma. So he's going to basically be one of the competitions with us and Derby. But apparently, he's highly rated by a lot of clubs. So that's probably why it hasn't happened yet. But again, he's also 21. So there is that question of, do you bring him in for the future?
Yeah.
Personally, I think that that Dembele would suit Derby way more than he would suit us because we're after sort of both what you can do right now and what your potential will be in the future as well. Whereas Derby are in a different situation where they've got the fact of they might not even stop up this year. I mean, ask anybody other than very biased Derby fans. They all say Derby will be in the same sort of situation that we were last year. And they'll be looking at maybe we might not stay in the league this year and have to drop back down again. And they're looking for the long-term future ability like in further seasons to come. But then they'll also be very heavily looking at what will their resale value be in X amount of years, because they've really been in the financial doo-doo in very recent history. Yeah. So that'll be all sort of big. So it'd suit them, I think, a lot more than...
if they were both on freeze, I would actually pick Dembele over Poveda because he's 21 and he scored 8 goals last season in a promotion winning side. But it's the fact that he could cost us 2.5-3 million. That's what puts me off. What
the other thing you've got here as well, right? Which is mental. Do you reckon? Can you imagine if Joe Byers is in his ear going, "Got to Wednesday, it'd be good fun," because
he already has been apparently.
Yeah, and where Joe Byers gone now? League 2.
Yeah. That's he's joined back up with Darren Moore, hasn't he? But that was.
I think he might need it for a bit of a confidence boost as well, because obviously, like the chat, no, as in us in the championship.
I just mean,
he didn't have a great time with us in the championship playing wise, and I think then he dropped down to Blackpool and had a bit of a better time. But I think he needs like
he didn't enjoy Blackpool.
He's always been second fiddle to Bannon a little bit at us, and I think he needs to drop down to that League 2 side to be the main attraction in a team. If you know what I mean.
I don't think he did. I think he could be the main attraction for a League 1 side, but I think he's gone for he's gone for the Darren Moore link up, and he's gone for that. Then he's going to be he could easily be the best player in League 2 because George Byers is a quality player. And could have still been a squad player for us probably. A squad player. But let's see what happens with the Poveda situation. We're going to move into, I'm not going to talk about this too much, but basically we've obviously condoned anything to do with racism or anything in our club, and there's been a sanction. So the club have now been sanctioned. They've had to pay a fine. The supporter, I use supporter in exclamation marks.
Lifetime ban.
It has been given a lifetime ban for what happened against
Coventry.
Palmer against Coventry. So good. And Sheffield Wednesday have just ended their statement with says Sheffield Wednesday make it absolutely clear discriminatory abuse is illegal, offensive, and will not be tolerated.
I think the hard part with this is I can see what people are saying, but it shouldn't happen either way. But it's very hard. How do you as a club police it? And we've accepted that we're at fault for it, and we've got a 12.5 grand fine to pay, or we have paid. But it's like, I understand where people are coming from saying, "Oh, but how do we police this?" It's like, it's just about using common sense, and if you see it, you stamp it out immediately.
Yeah, but it will happen. It will happen in certain. You look at every fan base seems to have an individual that sometimes does it, and it's a societal problem, not necessarily a football problem. And then it's that line between football and society, isn't it? So, I'm tired of talking about things like that. So much division at the minute, man. Yeah.
And to be honest, who cares if somebody's a different race or gender or whatever to you? Like, if they're a nice person and you get on with, who cares what race or gender people are? I know it's such a naive view or whatever, but who, as long as you're a good person, what else matters? I don't get why in a modern society now, where the world is more connected than it's ever been before because of the internet and because of all these other things, why does it matter if someone hasn't got the same skin color or genitalia as you? What is the big deal? It's also a case of
the thing for me is you can be proud of your country. I'm proud to be English without being discriminatory as well. Yeah. So it is possible to do. The Owls have gone to Germany. We're out in Germany. We had a 4-0 battering, at Salzburg. Champions League side. How are we feeling? Is everything going? Is Roll out? Is Chansiri out? Jake, is it happening? Jesus Christ, Jack. I've just seen him chug like a massive
It's a warm day.
This
is really not, by the way, the cheap like 70p like home brand stuff is actually not bad. Anyway,
from where?
This particular variety is from the Co-op, but of course other brands are available.
From the Co-op.
From the Co-op, not the one I used to work at. I go to the other one in the opposite direction because I don't ever want to set foot in that place again. Oh Christ! Anyway, yeah, sorry, but yes, Jake, your views on the loss to Champions League side RB Salzburg.
They're at the back end of their preseason as well because they start earlier, so they are up and running a lot earlier than us. 222.8 million is the value of their entire squad compared to our 23.8 million. There's a big difference. I understand why Danny has gone and played against this club. It makes a lot of sense because it's where he wants us to be in terms of style of play eventually. You look at whereabouts we are, we're probably not there yet. It does look like if you are not someone who likes to playing out from the back, you're not going to like this season that much because it ain't going anywhere. He's going to make it work one way or another.
I do worry about Bambo playing out from the back. I'm not going to lie, Jake.
Yeah, I can understand that. I do understand that. But here's the thing. We still got time to get it all bedded in. This was our second loss of the week as well, because we had a game versus Brighton, we lost 3-0. The different things, it's about getting energy, it's about getting the tactics. You will learn a lot more from a loss than a win. And I think it was Barry Bannon that said the gaffer wants us to make mistakes so he can fix it, so he can tell us where we're going wrong. And as long as we fix those mistakes and people give it a little bit of time, we should be okay. But I worry that the fan base are not going to give it time.
Jack?
I think it's an absolute categorical disaster. You mean to tell me that we've lost a upper mid-table aiming championship team has lost to a Champions League team with a 10 times higher value than our own squad in a pre-season friendly that means absolutely nothing other than a training exercise? It's a disaster. It's a categorical failure of leadership on and off the field. I can't believe it. How dare they? How dare they let us down like this? No, but it's just like, I think, to quote, and I believe it's Sun Tzu in The Art of War, failure makes you learn everything, whereas constant victory makes you learn nothing. It probably, that isn't a quote. I just think it's better to be losing and learning from these higher up oppositions than going down the road to the John Smith Stadium and having a mediocre friendly there. You know what I mean? And that's in reference to the other side. Like, we're playing against Champions League European teams and whatever.
I actually saw more people saying let's stop having a meltdown than people having a meltdown.
Yeah, same.
You know,
I've looked at Twitter threads. That's the problem. I've looked at Twitter threads in response to the Stars articles, and that's where the source of it all is. It's all the profile pictureless like gammons that are like, oh, but we should be lumping it up to big lad up front. Why are we not doing that? And that's all of the people that don't like the playing it out from the back. But it works. It's a trap. Would you rather be bored stiffless? It's not going to get any better
when we play Werder Bremen. Just saying.
Would you rather be bored stiff watching the same, like, just lumping it up, like our goalkeeper lumps it up to their centre half?
Can I just make a good point?
That attractive possession football.
Just saying. Can
I just make a point of, well, we have seen that Danny not scared to change it if it does need to be changed. He will change it.
Yeah.
But Beadle did. I have one criticism with Beadle. he parries the ball too much. And if he's going to...
Dawson.
We did, yeah. And the problem is, if he parries it a lot, the defense is going to have to be on it. What I don't get it with modern keepers, they don't catch. They don't catch balls anymore. They parry it, and it does my head in.
Yeah, it's that has become a thing.
Or they punch it. They punch it out, don't they? Like Pickford was doing it a lot in the Euros. They punch it out rather than just catching it and then.
Pickford just looked like he wanted to take everyone's head off, even his own player when he went to punch it.
I
love him.
I love.
He's
Pickford.
my favorite. He's my favorite England player. I love him so much.
He's great. Right, we're going to go into so it's the only player we're linked with, and it's because he's on trial with us. So this is from the Star. Ex-Nottingham Forest man features for Sheffield Wednesday in an Austria friendly. Sheffield Wednesday have former Nottingham Forest goalkeeper George Shelvey on trial with the club. The Owls have a difficult situation between the sticks after Ben Hamer got injured and Pierce Charles headed out on international duty with Northern Ireland, leaving James Beadle and Jack Hull as the only two stoppers available for selection on the trip to Germany and Austria. With that in mind, the club opted to draft in Shelvey to join their camp, and the 23-year-old was brought on at the Red Bull Arena on Saturday afternoon after a star showing from Beadle in the opening 45, despite the team falling 2-0 behind. The shot stopper came through the ranks at Forest before eventually leaving in 2024 to join Irish side Dundalk. Is it Dundalk or Dundalk? I've never known how to say that. However, he left in May on the back of being given a 10-game ban for an anti-Irish slur during a defeat to Drogheda United. Shelvey made a couple of good stops early into his first outing for the Owls, though it remains to be seen how long he will be given to impress Danny Rull and whether the potential of a contract to Hillsborough could be on the cards in the future. Should he manage to do so. We'll ask Rull about the goalkeeper when we get a chance. Obviously, there's controversy around this. For some more clarity on what was said, I've just been reading an article from the Irish Examiner. It was xenophobic by the looks of it. What was said, he referred to somebody, it's the referee following a loss. It was a referee called Rob Harvey, and he referred to him as a... He used his nationality, so he said an Irish. See you next Tuesday, basically. So he used it in a derogatory manner, and that's what he was banned for, and eventually let go on that. So if you wanted some more clarity, it's difficult with things around this because it's not something that should be said at all. It's the question of, it's the core of. He's 23 years old. Does he get another chance? Is it his nature? It's something you don't really want to talk about ever, really, in that sort of side of it. So I don't want to really go down too much in that line. In terms of Jack, how would you feel if he did become one of the goalkeepers at Sheffield Wednesday with all of this going on around it?
If he was dismissed from that club for this reason, then I'm a bit iffy on his personality fitting in and sort of like...
It depends if that is his personality or if it was because it was
if it was just a heat of the moment thing. If he's a young lad,
which is not acceptable, by the way. We want to say,
yeah, exactly.
But it's like it's difficult because people can grow and develop, and it's not always representative. But usually, when things are said and a ban of 10 games and that sort of thing, it's more of a case of is it more about his character? Is there more to it?
Exactly.
That,
yeah.
Is it just that one?
Those
comment?
question marks kind of make me sort of think, I don't know if I want to keep him on or whatever. But
it's weird because if you look back 10 years ago, that was common, and that doesn't ever make it right. But those sort of xenophobic comments that we now defer to as fully xenophobic because we've become more cognizant of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable as society has developed. 10 years ago, he'd have probably gotten away with it and it had been swept under the rug. And now it's a case of rightfully he's been called out for it, but it is a case of delving into it. And a club's clearly done... They've not talked about doing an investigation there, actually. So it's like, have they done an investigation and dismissed him for it or something like that? But I'll throw this to you, Jake, because they obviously they did the contract A little bit on the morality of it, yeah, but also from a footballing perspective, do you see it happening for Wednesday?
On a football side, the part of me that does, because we don't have anyone apart from the youth team level of players at the Ben. Now, the thing is, Ben, a rumour is that Ben's injury is a broken finger, which ain't great when you're a goalkeeper. So that's got to set and heal properly. But I still think there's probably a lot better free agent keepers out there. But it all depends on what age you're looking to bring in your net keeper. You're looking to bring in someone around the 23 age bracket, because I'll be honest with you, you look at our starting keeper at minute on loan from Brighton, he's 19. You've got our second choice is an 18, is a 36-year-old, and then our third choice is an 18-year-old. You need something in between them, which this is the thing, we've always had that. We've always had a Dawson or a Wildsmith to bridge that gap. This is the first time where we haven't had that gap bridged. And I think it's a difficult one, because I don't know if this has been, hey, I need a keeper for while we're over there, so if anything happens, I've got one. We'll take him on trial for a week. And then after we get back, it's like, thank for your trial, but you haven't earned a contract. Which, that makes me think it's that. Honestly, I think I need a keeper, the one available here, get him. And then we'll discuss it when we get back, and we probably won't extend it, but we just need a keeper for here.
Yeah, I think in a footballing perspective, it probably makes sense that we're looking. It's just, I'm never comfortable when there's been controversy around.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm not just white knighting that. I'm not virtue signaling. I don't know enough about it. If it's that one statement and that's all that's ever happened in his life, I like to think people deserve second chances as long as they've not done something beyond learning and growing. For example, a certain player who's just moved from a reputable club that I don't need to go into. That's unacceptable. That's never forgivable in my eyes. But I hate stuff like this.
Makes it very difficult.
We'll just have to see how it develops.
To do
it's
it.
not. It's
Shall we get the goalkeeper who's available and he's really good? Can we go get De Gea? De Gea.
Let's do that instead.
100%.
Let us know what you think about Shelby in the comments below. But yeah, guys, there's been some interest. Never a fun way to sort of edge around it, really, because the internet is a dangerous place for whatever you want to say, isn't it, guys?
Yep.
Pretty much.
And there's a lot more like
nuance.
If you don't have the same opinion as me, then you're just wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
I don't
when
agree.
also, there's no
I'm not
decorum anymore, it seems, with a lot of places. And it's
you've got people like it's a difficult one, but for me, it's never sat right for me for like when, and I know there's been troubles and I know he's got rights to do it, but the way that has been so anti-English and things like that, then that doesn't seem to be I'm not saying this is a comparable situation, but I think some of the stuff he's represented and done is across the line as well. So it's like, I just wish it's difficult when you've got a checkered history with politics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But why can't we all just be decent to each other? You know,
there is Adam Smith. Where did he play? Oh, Sunderland. No, Morecambe. Never mind. I'm thinking when he was back in the day when he was at Leicester, when he was decent. I was just seeing what other free agent keepers there are if you're actually looking. Because ideally, you want to bring in someone who's English just because you don't have to work around with work permits or anything.
Yeah. And that's why I think we'll sign him, guys, to be honest.
As like the proper backup, like emergency backup sort of thing.
Well, it depends on Hamer's injury, and like if he's gonna if he picks up a couple, like
it depends on Hamer's injury, and it also depends on if we're going to be loaning out Charles.
I think from what I remember about Hamer getting that injury at Alfredson Town, I think it was one of the other opposition players stood on his hand.
Right. Okay.
And there was a crutch, and that's how he's broken his finger. Because I guess a stud is like,
Fair enough. That's all I've got this week, though, boys.
The only other free agent you could bring in, if you're thinking about it, would be someone like a Wayne Hennessy. But then is he too close to being the same as what we got in Hamer?
Hang on, didn't he do some proper? Is he the person that I thought did the? Might not be. Hang on.
I think Wayne Hennessy's that guy that was at Crystal Palace for like years and years, right?
He's the guy that did the bloody the salute, guys.
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. I forgot. Oh, God, yes, he did. Okay, let's not go for Wayne Hennessy then.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. I've just gone from one bad situation to another.
Oh, bloody hell, Jake.
It's taking this episode, man.
The only one that I could see on the list that we wouldn't have to get like a work permit for.
I can't believe you just went there after that.
Oh, no.
That's all I've got for this week's episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Anything to add, Jack?
Just remember that we're all human beings. Yes, some people may not have profile pictures. Other people may be very much putting themselves out there on the internet like the three of us are. Just remember, we're all human beings. So if you're going to make counterpoints to anything that anybody said, be nice about it. Don't be an appendage about it all. Be nice, be civil, discuss it, be respectful, because people have feelings, and just if there's any opinions that you disagree with that any of us have said today,
he's had enough.
Be nice about it.
Basically, he said be nice to Jack this week because he had enough of reading bad comments.
I don't even think they were that bad.
And I've noticed this when people have met me and Jake at Owls in the Park. I think people have got slightly sometimes a little bit of a wrong idea about what I'm like, and they were shocked that I'm actually not a hearty, headstrong, constantly trying to wind people up all the time.
Are you joking? That's exactly what you are, Jack. I've been with you in public multiple times.
What? But I don't know what to say now. But yeah,
you are full of you're always on the wind up. When you and me, whenever we see you, Jake will attest for this. You will literally walk into the studio immediately on the wind up.
Because it's friends. I'm respect.
No, obviously you're not going to go up to a random stranger
totally
and just
nice
rip
and
them
lovely
apart. But I love how you tried to make out like it's not your personality because you are always on the wind up.
With friends, yes. Because they understand that it's friendly on the wind-up. But, anyway. If you've got different opinions to people, that's fine and great. Just be respectful with your discussion.
I'll be honest, I've got to say on the other side, I think everybody was respectful to you.
Yeah.
From reading the comments.
No, I know.
They disagreed with you, which I did, but I think...
I'm talking about generally on the internet. I wasn't meaning specifically this comment section. I mean, generally on the internet, a lot of people are now getting very hostile with one another and stuff. Yeah. And it's not the way to go about doing things, basically.
Sadly, it's the way of the world at the moment, and it's not going to get any better.
Yeah. Jake, got anything to add?
Just enjoy yourself. Go get a cold drink if you're in this, and just let's see where we are next week, because next week everything could have changed again.
True. That was a really interesting episode. Take care, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.